Christian, you
I
are mute.
unmute myself. There we go. I lecture everybody like, make sure you mute, make sure you unmute. And what do I do?
That's a classic.
Yeah, so classic. Yeah. Hey, welcome back. Hey, it's been a whole month. It feels like longer, Ragnar.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it was great. It was a wonderful 4 weeks since we met. I was very busy on the beach doing nothing, like 1 week in Spain, enjoying some sun, swimming, good food, siestas. So I couldn't complain.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. I love Spain. It's beautiful over there. But welcome everyone to Guardians of M365 Governance. This series, it's a monthly webcast focused on the rapidly evolving and expanding Microsoft 365 and everything around it, governance story. So our goal is to share insights, best practices, and the latest information about governance features, capabilities, best practices, what people are doing out in the community, all that kind of thing. So basically everything governance within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. And this is our 20th episode, and Joy should drop in like any moment. She's forgot she had a workshop she was running this morning, but we'll kick things off. Ragnar and I, we once again welcome former MVP now, I think it's still, and Erica can correct me here, still senior product marketing manager. I know like titles change and end of year and people move around, but focused on Purview, records management, that background, but Erica Toelle. And let me drop you in there. Hey, Erica, hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's great to have you. And yeah, lots of things. Welcome back, first of all. So I'm trying to remember, I didn't have my calendar up. Has it been almost a year since we had you on, or was it earlier this year? I don't remember.
I think it's been at least a year, yeah.
But time doesn't matter as much anymore, just like it happened or something at some point in the past. I don't know.
Yeah.
For you, it's a new year, it's a new fiscal year. And can we ask you if something has changed in your role, in your title with this new Microsoft fiscal year started July 1st?
Yeah, not with this fiscal year, but almost a year ago now, I still, of course, cover records management, but my primary role is covering Purview plus M365 Copilot and Copilot agents.
Excellent. Yeah. There's a lot that's been happening. In fact, there's been this. Just looking back at the 3-4 months since like the last big event with Microsoft announcements. You know, you had the M365 conference at the beginning of May. We've seen a wave of updates that's really been coming out, especially with AI in the spotlight. At a high level, how would you describe the shift in Purview's role as organizations start to adopt a lot of tools like Copilot and other AI-powered services?
Yeah, it's interesting because our role actually hasn't changed a ton. We've always been about, Microsoft Purview's always been about protecting the data sources. So things like, of course, M365 and SharePoint, unstructured databases, et cetera, and identifying sensitive data and giving you controls on how sensitive data can be used in your organization. And then all we've done is really expand that to the new type of content, which is interactions, the prompts and the responses, and how you're allowed to use sensitive data with prompts and responses, and of course, giving visibility into that use.
I know this is it because I've been doing adoption rollouts, working a lot. Almost all of our clients they're doing things. They're piloting Copilot. They're asking questions about how does this change kind of their posture in the organization? What do they need to be following? What do they need to be doing and tracking that? They're nervous about autonomous AI out there. If we just let it loose inside our system, what does that look like? I'd be interested because I know, Ragnar, you're doing a lot of the same types of projects. When both of you are talking with customers, what are the biggest concerns that you're hearing about AI and data governance specifically?
Yeah.
So from my point of view now with the agents, it's a different story because in the last year or 2 years, we delivered a lot of M365 Copilot workshops where they only could access Exchange, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, now Viva Engage also. But now with agents, it's different because they can access other tools which have very sensitive data like ERP, CRM, HR systems. And now it's just about who should be able to create an agent which kind of data can be used and should not be used, and then everything around operational excellence. Is the agent running fine, or does it fail and just create a cost and it doesn't run through properly? So it's a mixture of quality concerns, cost concerns, and then the data, who should access the data, and then on the agent side, who can access the agents with security groups, MC5 groups. So back again, the old topic about access rights and permissions, which we have like 15 years, 20 years.
It never stopped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
But what has changed definitely?
Oh, sorry about that.
Just one last sentence. The only thing what has really changed is that the customers are coming now to us and say, please help us with governance. We need a proper governance for agents. We fully understand the value of agents. We want to have them, but please help us with governance. And that's something different compared to last year, where we had to push why governance is important, why it matters. And now they ask us, please help us with governance. That's a change.
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything you just said, and I'll add implied, but the visibility into what agents and AI are doing within the organization. Because if I find when I talk to customers and I ask, like, what are you concerned about? What are you worried about? They list all the things Ragnar just mentioned, but also, I don't know what I don't know. And so I just kind of generally want visibility into what's going on. So I can learn and, maybe refine my answer a bit.
Well, it's good also to understand where AI has, what it touches there, because when it becomes self-aware and takes over, then we know how to better build our escape plan and remove ourselves back into nature. No, but I know that there's a lot of the discussion over the last couple of years, really since Microsoft announced Copilot. I mean, I saw a shift immediately because Microsoft emphasized so much of the governance around it. There was kind of two topics when Copilot was announced: was the ethical use of AI and the governance around AI right up front. And it was great to see, because we all know, coming from like the records management, the collaboration side of the house, SharePoint, that side of things, that we seem to have gone through a couple iterations of new releases where people just threw caution to the wind, governance to the wind. And only when pain happened did they circle back and, oh, we should have organized things better to have control over this. So, and that I would, being on the outside as an MVP, and I know because we've had these conversations over the years, Erica, too, when you were an MVP, like this was a concern, like Microsoft they're going out there and they're creating new without looking back and like, why did we build out the structure, the governance, these protections, and then we ignore what we built moving forward and just release things that have no guardrails? That they seem to have listened to their own experts and to the community, and they put governance and up front in their planning and their messaging around the product. So it's just great to see. But from day one, I mean, Ragnar and I were standing in a booth, when we were working for Rencor, and it was a difference between going to these conferences. Suddenly there was a wave where we had endless lines in front of the booth of people that were like, we're really concerned. We're thinking about, we want to go and do Copilot. We've got a small pilot going on, but we realize we're not doing enough around security, compliance, and governance. So that was a shift that I think agents has added to that. But the last 2-3 years, governance has become cool again, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, just like we've been saying for years, your data is an asset. Why not manage it as such? And I think what AI is really doing is shining a light on if you really want to get the benefits and gains, and while managing the risks we mentioned earlier, you got to have a governance program in place.
Yeah. How much of a problem is this, the idea of shadow AI? I mean, are you guys experiencing this? Are you seeing this? Are customers talking about this, where you see unsanctioned AI tools kind of sneaking in? I mean, is that something that is has been a problem in other areas. Is that a problem right now in this space?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's a concern for many organizations. Of course, it's not any different than concerns about any shadow IT app over the years. Um, if you have your devices managed and you could use policies to control what people can install app-wise, we have tools at Microsoft like Defender for cloud apps, where you can use the firewall to tell like what people are accessing. And then you can even get specific with things like Purview endpoint DLP to say, yeah, they can access this other AI app, but not use sensitive data with it. So you can really balance productivity and the security controls. But of course, if you haven't set this up for previous reasons, you do need to configure your policies and do that to get started.
Well, I know, Ragnar, you had we were talking before we started recording, some specific questions around DSPM.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was one of the big changes, kind of the rebrand of the AI hub over to the DSPM for AI. Is there any other, besides the rebranding, is there any other shift in priorities around that happened, or other changes? Not just a rebrand, but is just part of the maturity of AI governance, that shift? Like anything else that came with that change?
Yeah, I mean, I think DSPM for AI was our first, product that was focused solely on visibility into what's going on. Of course, people have responded very well to it, and so we're going to continue to invest in it. Of course, Microsoft Ignite is going to be in November this year, and that's where you'll hear a lot of the announcements about these investments. And there's going to be some pretty big ones around DSPM in general.
I know you have. We all have to be careful of where I constantly like, what have I heard about in the NDA only calls as an MVP? You've got the additional layer of, what's public, private that I know about from internal. So we're always careful to talk about what's out there, what's known.
That's the reason why I would like to share my screen, because Erica doesn't want to share her screen because some features are still under NDA and embargo. So let's use my demo environment with Purview DSPM, and Erica tells us a little bit what we can see. So first of all, I would just like to emphasize one thing. Christian, you just mentioned controlling monitoring of third-party AI. So bring your own AI. So here in Purview DSPM for AI, the older ones know that it was called AI Hub in the past, renamed to DSPM, which is Data Security Posture Management. And here there's a brand new section called Apps and Agent. And here we can see that ChatGPT Enterprise can also be monitored next to the first level family members like Fabric and Security Copilot and Copilot Studio agents and Azure AI agents.
Yeah, so really what this view is showing, it's based on usage. So if someone just creates, I guess it doesn't apply here, but it actually has to be used to show up here. And then also for things like ChatGPT Enterprise, if you haven't hooked it up in Intra in the apps area there, you won't see any of the data. But of course, for our first party apps, you don't have to complete those steps. So that's what you can see here. We do show some usage trend data, but really the value is this use protected, both through the more security focused policies like DLP, which is focused on how you can share sensitive data with these types of AI, as well as information protection and insider risk. Then also we're looking at our data compliance policies, like are you keeping or deleting these interactions? Are you monitoring for ethical use with communication compliance, et cetera?
I think this is definitely amazing. So I was very surprised when I first went into this column part. I said, listen, there are so many columns, like core columns, user analytics. We have got here like 6 different ways, interaction analytics, risk and compliance. So this is very, very rich. And here I just literally have to scroll to the right and then see different columns. And I'm also able to export them as a CSV file and work further. My demo environment is very strong here in Security Copilot. I've got 10 data protection policies, 9 compliance policies. I can see the amount of very sensitive responses, and also one very risky prompt was entered. And then I can see which policies were triggered and kicked by using this very sensitive prompt. I can see user risk activity in the last 30 days, and then I can see the top interactions here. But most of them, I think maybe like 99%, are no risk. And then the prompt activities in hard numbers, total prompts, response activities, last prompt, peak daily prompts. So this is a very active environment, which I'm using here right now.
I love I mean, a lot of this kind of the one-click AI policies. It's streamlined, simplified. I mean, we're getting much more detail through the admin experience than we did earlier with other solutions. That's all fantastic. One question that's come up for like 2 years now was started by I'm going to throw his name out there, Andrew Connell, which I completely agree about. He's like, when are we getting Copilot for the admin experience? We need an admin Copilot. I want to be able to go in and look across all the various admin centers and do like a gap analysis. Like, here's what I'm trying to do, and we're doing this, and there's this integration. What am I missing? Or if I need to strengthen the policy in this area, we have this concern. What can I go and do? Like, is that a thing? Is there a team looking at that, Erica?
Ragnar has it open right now. Yeah, so we at least have that in the Microsoft security world, including Purview. It's called Security Copilot, and it is AI for security admins and security practitioners.
That's very cool. I guess I need to go explore with it, because I seem to recall hearing about that. I've been so focused on the end user side and adoption strategies and trainings that have not been playing as much in the back end. But I mean, that's really where I see like the future of going in there and automating that, is creating agents, creating repeatable tasks like back on the back end to go and do, and to alert when there are changes in the system. And they're like, hey, you're trying to, I mean, if it's intelligent enough to recognize that you're trying to do this, and here's suggestions of how you can improve your security based on the latest releases that are coming out. So that instead of having to constantly watch every security update, summarize that, figure out how does that impact me, for the system to know the context of what I have in place, what I'm trying to do, and make suggestions. Would love that.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's also merging. So what I really like about is that the topic of security and compliance are merging. So in the Security Copilot, I can also see data and information from Purview, and also technical things from audit logs and Sentinel. So it's a very rich experience, and there is no security or governance or compliance. Everything is under one single brand.
I love too that again, another topic, had this discussion with, we've got a couple customers that are going through an M365 modernization. One of them moving that's not on the Microsoft stack at all, moving over. So kind of everything's new. We all love those stories. Microsoft loves that. We're winning business, in this case, against Google. But it's part of this is support for non-Microsoft 365 data. I mean, that really kind of stands out. I don't know if Microsoft used to publish this back with the intranet data points of, what are the systems, what are like percentage of, like what are the various data types, data sources that customers are most eager to bring over, I guess in this case, into Purview. I don't know if that's something, if you can talk about that. What are you seeing more of, where we have an impact?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak about it anecdotally. Unfortunately, we don't want to release that data anymore
course.
because of
Right.
customer privacy, right?
Yeah.
It's your data. We don't want to be telling people about what you're doing. I think the huge one, of course, is Fabric, which is still a Microsoft source, but that's where a lot of people are doing development with AI. And then, of course, Dataverse as a relational database that's also driving a lot of AI use. Outside of Microsoft, it's all the things you would expect. Everything from AWS to other kind of structured repositories. Those are the ones like we can do today. And then, of course, we're always looking at customer feedback about the next sources to add. I will give a little plug here. The more specific you can be about the feedback, the better, because we have to invest in building these connectors. When people say, "Oh, I just want to be able to manage unstructured data," it's maybe not so actionable. So please file the specific feedback, and we very much are listening.
Yeah. Christian, could you please share my screen?
Oh, yeah.
So I've now logged into the Security Copilot, and the interesting thing is that there are also now agents. So we not only have the agents for the end users, like a travel agent or policy agent or sales agent, we also have now the Purview agents, like the Purview.
Exactly what I was talking about. I guess I do need to go and play a bit. Yep.
Exactly. That's the play. So what I did here is I just went to the Security Copilot, and then I literally searched for Purview, and then here I can see what the agent is doing. I can go deeper in how it can be triggered, what it should do, the deployments, the activity. So I can see how the performance is of this agent. So that's the next generation. And I think, Erica, maybe there will be also more. Currently, I only see 2 Purview agents when I search for Purview. Is this correct? Or did I just search only for Purview and I missed something?
No, those are the 2 that we started with, because obviously triaging alerts is a pain point that we hear quite frequently. But again, I'll say stay tuned for Ignite.
Oh, yes. What a cliffhanger. Yeah. This is
one other thing too, in the partner ecosystem. I mean, one thing that you see with the maturity of the space and there's continued growth and opportunity, of course, just within the Microsoft ecosystem. But you see more and more partners that are expanding out on their solutions, especially the product companies, into multiple clouds and doing things. It's always exciting to go to an event like Ignite, to these massive events, and see the competitors that are there and showing their integrations, their stories alongside Microsoft products. Love that. With Purview specifically, you've got the SDK. You've got support for Snowflake. Is it the idea to position Purview more as a central platform for data governance across environments? Is that something that Microsoft is positioning that?
Yeah. I mean, our goal that we state this at every security keynote, we want to be the end-to-end security platform. Purview is our brand around data security and, securing the data itself. But in general, Microsoft security wide, we can't have these vendor silos anymore, right? People have a limited number of people and resources. It doesn't work anymore to go and configure security and compliance and governance in every single silo. We need solutions that work across platforms and across clouds, because ultimately the goal is to be secure.
Absolutely.
Well, if you had to boil it all down, what's the one message you'd want business leaders to take away about Purview's role in the AI era?
Yeah, I think our big differentiator, if you actually want to get the benefits of using Gen AI with your organizational data, you can't have management of sensitive data be an all or nothing on-off switch. You need to be able to have controls about how people can use PII versus more maybe like customer information, or that's not a good idea, that's PII, versus like maybe sensitive merger and acquisition data versus generally confidential data. And you need to be able to set controls for each kind of category of sensitive data. And that's where Purview really stands out, is because we're both, a security platform with Microsoft Security and an AI platform with Copilot and Studio agents and others. We're really the only platform that can both recognize different types of sensitive data and apply granular protections and configure those, and have industry-leading Gen AI tools and agents.
Mm-hmm. Erica, I've got a real-world question from a customer. Christian, could you please share my screen? So I was running a data security workshop. Thank you to Microsoft. They're sponsored. And then I went into the report section of DSPM for AI. So far, so good. The most interesting thing for the customer was that I can see which are the really sensitive interaction and which kind of categories do I have. So here I see that the Copilot or the Security Copilot is, it deals somehow with medical terms or with diseases or other kind of, PI data. So this was quite interesting. The customer really liked it. They were really surprised about the massive amount of, let's say, medical data. But then they said, we don't know more, because we just know that there is medical data or finance data from credit cards, but we don't know more. And then I said, yes, but then you have to go for communication compliance, and then you can go deeper and read the number of the credit card or the number of the driver's license or the kind of disease somebody is talking about. No, that's too far. We don't want to open the communication compliance, because then we would get a major pushback from the German Workers' Council, data protection people. We don't want to go so far with the communication compliance, but here we see information about medical data, but we don't know what's inside. And then we don't want to talk with the end user about it, because we don't have anything in our hands. So we are just speculating. How do you deal with this thing of superficial information about medical data and too much information when you go down the route with communication compliance?
Yeah, actually, there's quite a few. If you could keep the demo up, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so there's really two places I would point you to learn more about this. So first, if you click on one of those activities down below, just click on any random one in the list below here. Scroll down a bit.
You mean the activity types?
Just scroll down the page.
Oh, yes.
And click on anything here. Just pick one.
Okay, let's take this one.
So here, you can see at the bottom of this window, sensitive information types detected. And you're like, okay, that's interesting. And just above it, view under interaction data, you can say view related AI interaction activity. And so here you can actually see the prompt, the response. If they used a web query, you can see the actual query used. Not working here, but and if it's referencing like a sensitive file, you could actually click and view that file if you wanted. You can also disable that permission for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because for some reason I already tried it, but it did not work in my demo environment. Okay, here. So here I can see something. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, if you picked one that maybe was, and you don't have to do it right now, but just to speak to it, if you pick one that's maybe more focused on M365 Copilot rather than Security Copilot, you'd be able to see actually if any files were referenced in the response, exactly what those files are, the sensitivity label, what sensitive information it contains. And then the other way, if you want to view this for like non-AI usage, there's another way we could view that as well.
Okay, fine. I'm always a little bit nervous because this is real data and not
my bad.
But I don't think that it's okay. No, I have to find a prompt where it displays data. Yeah, but but
Yeah.
but I finally
But
know
check it out
where
in your
to
own
where to go.
environment.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
if you would like to see just like generally
Mhm.
where this sensitive data is in your environment, if you
Yeah.
go into information protection, for example, there's
Mhm.
something called Data Explorer. And
Yeah.
on the left side, you can pick from these sensitive information types or any sensitivity labels or retention labels and actually see, okay, this exists in Exchange,
Mhm.
Teams, SharePoint, and then you can click in and see like a list of the actual SharePoint sites. Um,
Mhm.
and then if you would like to grant people permission, you can keep this off if you want. You could then click and see the list of files in that site and the contents of the file as well.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. So in DLP, I've seen that it points to the SharePoint site, but for somehow it was not granular enough. So here the idea or the wish from a customer would be that it's going to be a little bit more specific. So not only like the SharePoint site name, but also more on the document level, or if it's in Teams, then the name
Yeah,
of
it exists
of
there.
the
My guess is they didn't have the right permission, right? Because we want to we have RBAC permissions, right? And so there's a
mhm.
different permission for viewing the list versus the contents of the documents because the contents
Yeah.
is obviously more sensitive.
Mhm.
And so the IT admin has a choice of how in-depth people can go with that analysis.
Okay. I'm fully aware that there's so many roles
Yeah,
existing for Purview, so this can be also a little bit overwhelming, that's for sure. But
yeah,
I think this was the course, because they're saying, okay, now we know it's about one SharePoint site, but we want to go deeper and go. We're not interested to read the Word document or see what's inside a picture, but we want to know more.
yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
No, I think this is the right answer. I think we really had some role issue here. Yeah.
Well, and no, Erica, time sensitive. I know that you have a hard stop, but you've got another call you can jump on, and just want to thank you as Ragnar and I can wrap up here for a few minutes. But thank you for your time. I hope to see you. It's a bummer that I don't see you at every event anymore.
I know, I kind of miss it.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
so hopefully we'll see you at once or twice this fall. But thank you so much for your time. And of course, we'll have all the contact information for Erica out in
Yeah.
LinkedIn and socials and stuff. And I'll say, Erica, again, is a former MVP. She's very approachable. You can reach out with questions.
Absolutely.
So within reason, as obviously we're all busy, but she's busy. But thank you so much for your time, Erica.
Yeah, Christian, Ragnar,
Oh,
thank you so much for
highly
having me. It's
appreciate
so
it.
great to see you.
You've answered all my nerdy questions here, so thank you for that.
Anytime. All right,
Thanks a lot.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Well, Ragnar, I know that I'm sad that Joy didn't drop in, man. So she must have. She's running a workshop and like got pulled into something. But it was a great conversation, and really appreciate you showing actual problem areas, questions that you had with clients. That also always makes it more real, more easy to understand the context of the new features and capabilities. So.
I think that's something what we should do also in the next shows. We don't want to do a webinar here where we just show slides and pitch something here. So that's something what we don't want. But this real life questions coming from real customers. So I think that's quite interesting.
I like that mix too.
People can see something and see some visual things of the real product.
Right. And Ragnar, the other thing is that I had a thought too about how, you and I have a lot of product company experience. That's where I've spent most of my Microsoft career, is working for product companies. But now I work for a consulting company. You work for a consulting company. We're out there, real world deployments with customers around these things. But I just keep thinking about how different things are now that Microsoft is starting to build out this kind of capability where you don't have to 100% rely on third-party solutions for them. Now, the third-party providers, as we both know, they are still doing innovative things in other areas, cross-cloud. They're out innovating Microsoft in other scenarios. But it's great to see such robust solutions.
It is amazing
around the admin space by Microsoft. Yeah.
So I worked at Microsoft as a channel lead for the E5 suite. So Purview and the Compliance Center was part of my of a baby, which I launched through my partners a couple of years ago. And I'm very, very, very impressed about the massive speed Microsoft is putting here into the AI and Copilot capabilities of Purview. So that's this kind of speed and innovation I've never seen in the life of Purview. So that's number one. But there's still space for the third-party vendors, because Microsoft reports are usually out-of-the-box reports, and the vendors, they provide report building sets and dashboard builders. So that's a huge difference. And also, to be honest, Purview is not part. This AI and Copilot part of Purview is not part of the E5 license anymore. It's part of a pay-as-you-go license. Then at the end, you need to see what is the price you pay for Purview as pay-as-you-go versus third-party.
Buy a tool that provides that and a bunch of other things, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But the biggest story for third-party vendors is definitely that they have this single class of pane where have everything, where you have all the important workloads under one control, and not like, okay, you've just a major focus and a drill down and deep dive into Copilot, agents, governance, and compliance. You have got everything in one single dashboard. That's always the major difference.
It's great to see Microsoft offering out SDK for Purview. The other side of that is that, I mean, the vendors, the partners are constantly asking for Microsoft to expand the options that are available for hooks into the platform and data. That's a constant battle to allow the third-party tool providers to do more with the data. So I know that there's a lot of vendors that are out there. We've worked with the majority of the biggest names that are out there. And so, showing up at an event, it's usually the same faces, the same brands that are in there, banging on the door to Microsoft saying, hey, you need to give us this access, expand the graph, make this available. Here's how you throttle or limit in this area. You need to let us do this. It's always interesting. There's constant changes going on, but it's just, it's great to see stuff that comes, I'll say, out of the box, because there is, in this case, that you're paying additional for the usage of those things, but it's great to see it coming out.
And that's exactly why we're here with the show, to digest and reflect all these changes, which are currently massive changes and so many innovation. And then we talk about the pros and cons of each solution.
Well, we've got a lot coming up. Just to wrap things up, I know this next month, we talked about it last month. We still have, we've got to lock down the time, but we have Sue Handley joining us for our September episode. And then we've got a list of, we have to iron this out, Ragnar. We need to get our, I'd say the last few months of the year, let's get it locked down. We've got a lot of guests. We're always interested in feedback. If you are in this space, if you'd like to participate, if you've got something to say about governance in this M365 world, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on, or talk about the potential for having you on the show. So whether you work for a third-party tool provider or you're an expert in the space, reach out to us. And Ragnar and I we're always online. Between the two of us, we're pretty good at 24-hour coverage of the interwebs.
It is crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Ragnar, great to see you as always. And we'll see you at the next one.
From my side.